Welcome everyone to the Mastermind Book Club. In tonight's session, we shall be going over part three of the review of high performance habits. In today's Mastermind review, we have a guest speaker who is known to all of us. He's amazing. He probably reads and listens to these books many more times than I could imagine. And you know, he's a marathon reader, or listener, I should say. And that's what it takes to train your ears, to train your body, to train your whole process of creating energy from what you listen to into reality, is training whatever part of the body you want, whether it's just your visuals or your hearing in this case, because we are talking in reference to audiobooks. So, Reg, my main man, my brother from another mother, you've got the platform. Enlighten us. You have as much time as you need to go over. I'm gonna be quiet for the next 5 to 10 minutes or more, and take the platform. Have other people assist you. I'd like to hear. I'd like to be one of the privileged ones. All right, to be able to listen to profound words from such a mentor as Reggie Hillier. Thank you.
Wow, there's so much acclaim there. You know, how am I going to live up to all of that? No, seriously, you know, thank you for the accolades, and thank you for the sort of cheering me on and giving me a lot of love. Similarly, I give you a lot of love as well. All the things that you've done for us and everyone else, and how much you do in such a tireless effort. One arm, two arms, no arms.
Yes.
You know, you make it happen. So, like you said, you haven't stopped. You haven't missed a beat, even when you yourself got injured. You know, but you do have to take some time off, because you could injure yourself more, so you have to be careful. But nonetheless, you're there for us, you're there for your family, you know, you're there for many others, and you work at it, you know, with reckless abandon and with intention to do good for yourself and for others. So that's always good, and we love you for that, and we thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I did get to listen to most of the book, probably short of maybe an hour or so, roughly. But I did get to listen to most of it. The book, as we know, very powerful, very key elements for growth, things that you can implement into your life that could really spearhead you and push you forward, you know, in the sense of taking on some attributes in the way of habits that can really, if you utilize them, can really propel you forward. And in this case, we're talking about high performance habits, as we've gone through 2 weeks of this presentation, of going through the topics and, you know, going through covering at least some of the what he talked about throughout the book. So, I mean, these are key elements. These are key things that you can use, right? So one thing I like to focus on tonight is, just because it was something that like really rung in my ear when I heard it, as far as like habits. So as far as, you know, sort of us in life and what we're going through and what we're growing through. And, you know, so ultimately we're all trying to do something. We're all trying to live our lives. We're all trying to move forward, hopefully with intent, you know, hopefully to get better each and every day, you know, although that's not everyone's game plan. But either you're working towards it intently, you're consciously doing things, or otherwise you're not. And either way, you're going to be led somewhere. You're either going to be led forward or you're going to be led backwards. So at one point, it was mentioned in the book where, I think it was a quote by, or mentioned by Michelle Obama, where it said, I'm not sure, I can't remember if it was her, but I remember mentioned somewhere around the point where he mentioned Michelle Obama. And he said, you know, you have two schools or two factions of people living, if you will, or something along those lines. It's either you're progressing or you're struggling, right? But even in working towards progress, you could be going through some types of struggles. But ultimately, you're either going to be struggling and never really moving forward, whereas you struggle and you start to move backwards, constantly moving backwards, constantly moving backwards, constantly moving backwards. Or you could be progressing, constantly progressing, constantly progressing. And also in between, you could be doing some struggling and progressing. But ultimately, someone with a high performance mindset, someone that's implementing high performance habits, is ultimately working towards progress while understanding that there may be some struggle. And that's okay, because struggle may be part of the process. And as you go through those struggles, you sort of understand that, you know, there's going to be something on the other side of that struggle that's going to be some type of victory. So with that mindset, you can work towards always working towards being better. You work towards always approaching and attacking things that, you know, knowing those things may come upon your path that you have to work to get around or get over, but you're not gonna run away from them, because a person with a high performance mindset understands that there is an element of danger or element of, you know, worries and things that may come up, you know, as part of what may be you working towards your ultimate goal, and that all comes within maybe that struggles. And there was a mention where a lot of us nowadays are sort of against that struggle, because the struggle to them, to many of us, is something that we don't want to see, because we ultimately want to just achieve that outcome, which is more often than not probably the pleasure, more often than not maybe just getting the victory and the rewards, but don't want the struggle. So what we don't build is that intestinal fortitude, that courage that allows us to always be able to push forward, and no matter what may come our way, we may be able to overcome it, because we have that, we built up that thick skin, if you will. We built up that power that allows us to keep going. So high performance habits, these are things that when implemented, you'll always be able to get to that final destination, because you're not going to stop. Even if there are things like, you know, I talked about fears, you know, your fears you still attack, because ultimately you're not afraid of overcoming whatever that fear is, because you know that there's fear, you know that there's struggle, you know that there's potential blocks in the way, but you have enough in you, having an understanding of where you're going, understanding that you're looking to get to a certain place, that there's nothing that's going to allow you to not get to that place. So you're not going to stop, because you have that fire burning inside of you, that power, that intestinal fortitude, as I said, that allows you to keep going. And ultimately, as you go through and grow through, you're going to get to that place, whether it takes a day, a year, a month, or even longer, because, you know, there's no stopping you. So you have to understand that, right? There's always going to be a potential struggle, or maybe, but ultimately, you know that the key word at the end of it all is the progress. And you never really reach what is a final destination, because as a high performance performer, the high performance habit individual, one who's implementing that, you never really like stop, you know, because even as you reach certain goals or achieve certain goals and get to certain places, you always are constantly going, because there's always something you can build on. There's always something you can do to add. There's always some way in which you can implement more, right? But at the same time, as you're doing that, there's things that you have to do in order to achieve that, such that you don't, you know, so that you're able to get there. So there are other elements to this as you go along the way that you have to keep in mind, which is to do things like rest. Resting is key, because if you're not resting, you may think that you're pushing forward, and you think you're building, you think everything is coming together, and you think I can keep going, and you can burn out, you can fall apart, because now you haven't allowed your body to rest, your mind to rest. You haven't allowed yourself the chance to kind of take ease when you need to take ease. And that's very pivotal and important in this process. So you have to be very careful with that, because you don't want to overdo it, overextend yourself, because you can suffer from things like burnout. You can suffer from serious fatigue, mental, spiritual, any type of fatigue, physical, all of those types of fatigue could potentially stop you from being able to go forward, stop you from being able to achieve that ultimate outcome that you're looking to achieve. So you have to be very mindful of these things, because if you're looking to grow and get to a certain destination, which is to achieve this level of greatness that we may be trying to achieve, we have to make sure we implement these different things along the way that's going to allow us to get there. So this is very key stuff, right? So as you go through this process, there's also understanding that it's not, you know, just about what you're doing and what is all about you, because as you are going through or growing through and moving forward, ultimately what you're doing is things that could serve as examples to others as well. as high performance achievers, people who are implementing these habits into their lifestyle, you ultimately serve as a role model to others to implement those things as well, or at least that they see, because a lot of people will mirror and model that which they see. And especially, maybe they don't have that thing within them right off the bat that allows them to just do what you do. But sometimes people will build off of what you're doing. So you doing what you're doing in these ways that you're going about your business could serve as examples to others, such that they are able to be fueled by your example, right? And then as you go forward, the whole idea is that if people may become interested, that you can serve in a way where you basically give them compliment, that you don't negatively communicate or talk to people in a way such that they're lesser because they're not achieving the things that you're achieving, because they're not there, they're not currently in that mode that you're in, that they're able to implement these habits and keep to these habits and be disciplined enough. That's not what it's about. So you have to be very careful about that, because you in sort of living this lifestyle and sort of doing these things, you serve as a light to a lot of people, like a beacon. And you as an individual who is implementing these things, it's not even so much that, there was mention how it said, maybe you have a high performance persons, whereas it's just a label the person as such, but any given person can basically be can basically get to a point where they can at least develop some of these types of habits that ultimately can change their life. So maybe you're not labeled as a high performance individual across the board, whereas everything you do is basically you excelling and you performing at a high level, and you always lead in the pack, and you always being the person that everyone looks upon as the way out or the way. It doesn't have to come down to that, but just as much as you may be that individual who never really needs someone to push them, who's always running high and running fast and going far and going until they can't go anymore. There's others who, like I said, it's just as you do these things, they can at least learn from you in certain respects or certain aspects. And with that, you have a responsibility to not come across as egotistical, to not come across as like you're better than, because that's not what it's about. It's just ultimately about always looking to improve yourself, to do what you can to be better in every way that you are. And then, as you're implementing these habits, to understand what, responsibility you have in terms of others, and, how you are seen in the lives, in the eyes of others, in terms of what it is that you're doing. Because a lot of us need guidance. A lot of us need, people that can kind of show the way, and as we are doing this thing that we're doing, these taking our time out to read these books, to take part in these discussions. This takes a lot in terms of just, taking the time to really be intentional about it, so that you are making efforts to be better, and as you do that, like, many others who don't necessarily do it, and there's many reasons why. And so one other point that I'll focus on is the fact of even participating in these discussions, participating in these, just making your life better type things, and just sort of being the example that we are. There's a lot of courage in that, because a lot of people are fearful of that. We're fearful of, what it may take to get to a better place, what it may take to overcome, our current situations, what it may take to even get from point A to point B, because oftentimes we're thinking about all the things that come with that, instead of thinking about what we ultimately may achieve. As I've used this statement, I don't know the exact quote, but sometimes, people, well, actually I won't say it, but I was gonna say people will often stick with what we know. So you get comfortable with what I'll call the comfortably uncomfortable. You sort of stay where you are because you know it, but to get out of that state and go to something else requires something different from you, a different example, a different way of being, a different set of tools that you might have to reach into your toolbox, different things that you haven't incorporated into your life. That's going to be, stuff that maybe it may be a grind. It may be, you having to try something new that, you may not be willing to really do right out the gate. So you have to really think about all that stuff. But, a lot of us necessarily don't do that. So that's fine. But there are some of us that want to do it. So we will take the initiative and we'll go at it. And this is where, people who develop these habits, especially what we call high performance habits can really make a real stamp on life and really can serve as great examples to each and every one of us. So that's essentially what I have to say to that. I mean, everyone else, I know we've all have at least read part of the book and gotten something from it. So I'll be interested to know or hear from, others what kind of takeaways they've gotten from the book, because, this is a powerful book. Brendan Burchard has written multiple books. One of his other books that is very popular was a bestseller of Motivation Manifesto. But he really, is a good storyteller. He talks some good stuff that can really, if you take it to heart, you can really be empowered by it. So, like I said, I'd be interested to know some of what you guys have taken away from the book, because I think it is a very good book, and he does a good job storytelling. He does a good job using quotes. He does a good job just sort of, talking about some things that we can really, if we would have put into our own lives, could really help us. So with that, I'll allow you guys to do your thing.
Well, thank you. Thank you,
I can follow up with
Reg.
him.
Just wanted to say thank you, Reg. That's a very, very insightful, very meaningful. So, I'd like to see that on occasion. That's very good what you just did there. So I really like to thank you. Thank you very much. Just a little clap there. I can only use one hand, and but I thank you very much, Reg, for that. Anyone else want to comment on anything that Reg said?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay, great. I was just going to follow up about some of the things that Bashar talked about, the struggles as it's part of the process. He was saying that even once you've overcome, you don't take these struggles or you take your successes and dumb them down so that others won't feel the lack he was talking about. He was saying that you need to really, I guess, accelerate yourself. Like, the struggle is a necessary part of the process. Facing hardships and the challenges will become the defining part of the high performance mindset. A person's first step is courage, like Reggie was talking about. He also mentioned, everyone has that point of crossing the Delaware in their life, like George Washington. If you know the historical story, he crossed the Delaware River in, extreme conditions, and, his men didn't have shoes and they almost didn't make it. And he was saying that, courage is really essential. And he also talked about setting standards, challenging others to a attitude of high performance. Like Reggie was talking about, how you can encourage someone and also challenge them at the same time without, I guess, you kind of like promote them to do better, but you also tell them about their faults a little bit without demeaning them. I thought that was pretty good. He talked about relationships, communications. This is the character, feedback, direction. What's that? The supportive gift. You are better than the person that the supportive gift. You're not better than the person, but you bring out their betterment. Like Reg did a phenomenal job with telling with sharing the information tonight, and how even though he said he didn't read the whole book, he still gave us a good commentary. So we applaud him for doing that, and that's part of relationship building with others. And then he also talked about how high performance people, they don't approve of bad behavior. So in today's climate, I thought that was pretty crucial, that people should stand up and really get after people who are behaving badly. Another thing he said, they support each other, wanting each other to succeed. There's greatness in the unity, as I believe Reg mentioned that. The contribution, getting the most out of the situation, being creative, meaningful, creating a greater future. And when he was talking about that, I thought about how Michael Jordan made all his teammates better. like he was the superstar for a few years, but then he realized that in order for them to win the championship or to develop the team, he would have to make the people around him better. He would have to improve the Scottie Pittmans. He would have to improve Paxson and his supporting cast. And that was pretty interesting what he talked about. He also wanted to drop out of school. He told an analogy when he was wanted to go to Paris, but if they missed 10 days in school, he would have to repeat that grade. And he was saying, well, to go to Paris was like a once in a lifetime opportunity to go with his family, and it was only 14 days. So he was very articulate. He wrote articles in the newspaper, but the school board still when he came back, they still, took him down a grade, and he was about to quit. And a lady, Linda, came to him and said that, listen, you don't look as a guy who's a quitter. You have the greatness in you to succeed. And, do you really think, looking back in life, the situation of you quitting would be your best option? So she knew how to encourage him and how to get him to his greatness and also show his faults at the same time. I thought that was pretty interesting. And Reg also talked about the self-epity, which is the confidence, one of the HBI scores, which helps avoid burnout and distractions, thinking about things that give you more confidence, doing things that give you more confidence. And when you feel good about yourself, you can do more. And then he also talked about that confidence building, and that keeps you healthy too. I think you mentioned that one time before, David, how that confidence makes you want to go to the gym, be a healthier person, be a better contributor to I guess mankind. And I love the quote. He said, "Self-confidence is the first prerequisite to great undertakings." And that was Samuel Johnson who did that. What else? Nothing correlates like confidence. He also went into curiosity as one of the main points. Just, I guess, exploring, I got out of that a lot of times you need to look at different avenues, even if it's not something that's your forte. Like at first I didn't like classical music. I kind of like didn't understand it. But as I got into Beethoven, Brahms, Chopin, I kind of like enjoyed the music. I studied it. I listened for certain, I guess, instruments that I like to hear in the music. So that was my introduction to taking on classical music. And that's like one of the integration habits, like taking on something that's really not something you wouldn't normally take on. He stressed that to be curious, to look at something different. He also talked about reflecting, how you should reflect every week on Sunday. Take 30 minutes to look back at the week and see how your week went and what you could have done better. What was your shortcomings? And he also talked about what good things did you do during the week? What things that I guess promote your high performance habits? What did you do that fits into the struggle? We talked about the practices, and I'm gonna just give somebody else a chance to talk too. So, but I really got into a lot of the different angles that he was talking about,
Very good,
especially with the
Charles.
self-confidence.
Very good, Charles. Thank you.
I thought Reg did a phenomenal job kicking
Yes,
off.
I totally agree, Reg. And I just wanted to make a quick summary. These are 6 of the words that you have all mentioned, even in synonyms as well, that relate to the 6 most important habits. Number 1 of them is courage. Courage. Right. Number 2 is clarity.
Clarity.
Number 3 is energy. Number 4, necessity. Number 5, productivity. Productivity. And number 6, influence. So these are 6 words that you can use to measure yourself, either on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly basis. Now, we're at the beginning of the month. Today's September 1st. Now, I just wanted to ask you, did you feel courageous enough last month? And I just want to answer that quickly for me. Yes, I did. I had a fall. I dislocated my shoulder. But you know what? I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I'd go over the same routine again. Just that this time I would be better prepared, right? Because what happens if you fall? You got to get up, right? That's number 1. Number 2, clarity. Are you clear about what you want? Okay, I know that I need to do a website, and I have been postponing Aaron because of one thing or another, right, Aaron? You can just nod. And as of this week, I need to get started on that. Whether I'm ready 100% or not, I need to be clear. It's a way of me making a business associate out of my business. And yes, it's an investment. Yes, it's in the beginning, it's going to be like, oh my God, do I really have to put? Well, the reality is you work together to grow together, right? So I don't just want to create a website and then, you know, bye, Aaron. I want to be able to create a website and within 3 to 6 months' time say, Aaron, I need to create a better website now because I've got X amount of traffic coming through, right? I mean, am I wrong, Aaron, or is this, you know, you can just nod and if I'm wrong, but okay, so she's sort of saying yes, I guess.
Well, I mean, you can grow, so you may have to add additional pages, additional services. So yeah, your website is always a work in progress. I mean, as far as adding new content and keeping it updated to match your products and services.
So thank you, Aaron. Start with 1 page. Be clear about what you want. Websites are the thing of the future now. All right. Number 3, energy. Are you creating the right energy? And what do I mean by that? So in the book, he mentions this tension to intention. What does that mean? So he has a trigger word whenever he's switching from one thing to another. What's that trigger word? Release. Release. All right. I tell my daughter stop because she has spasticity and she can't move her hands the way she wants to. So I tell her stop. And when I tell her stop, then she starts to move her hands the way she wants to. Release is one of those trigger words. So I use stop, all right? For you, if you're going home and you just came from a stressful day at work, you've got to release. And for example, ask yourself, what is the primary feeling I want to bring home? You know, you dictate your feelings. If you want to feel horrible and you don't want to change that, then that's up to you, right? What's the next thing? Necessity. Necessity. Now, how do we identify with necessity? Necessity through identity. So Bob Marley was clear on what his needs were. Most perform. Bob Marley's identity was he must perform well. He has no choice. I give myself no choice. I know you guys have heard me say that. I have no choice. I've got to do this, right? Now, most have to see yourself that way. You've got to see yourself that way. You've got to perform well. Don't just see yourself as, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to do this. But stop that. What do you gain from saying you're not going to be able to do this? Ask yourself something like that. Now, how does this need build up? He says you need to have a reliable accountability person or a coach or a mentor to get you ahead. Not just someone who's going to say, oh, you're doing that? Oh, well, that's okay. Oh, okay. That's what most people will do. If they're not challenging you, then that mentor, coach, or, what accountability partner is not going to do much for you. I've been there. When I started out, I used to tell people, okay, that's good. That's good. What is that going to get you in any more progress to what you've already accomplished? All right? Necessity. When lacking motivation, remember to ask yourself, who are you? Charles, who are you? What do you do? Ask yourself that. Within those two questions, you should be able to find the necessity that you need to get ahead in whatever situation you are in. Because your identity should never be lost, should always be in your focus, in your top 6 habits, daily performance habits. All right, what's next? Productivity. Now, to be productive, you all know what it means to be productive. It means to be work. You don't have to work 24 hours a day. You don't have to go to bed at 2 in the morning and wake up at 6 in the morning. You don't have to do that every day. You might have to do that some days, but you don't have to do that every day. This is what Brendan Burchard says. What does that mean? You have to allocate specific amount of time to developing, let's say, your business, or working for someone else, or serving others. Plain and simple, right? And how about influence? So this is bringing your A game home, right? Your purpose. I know that you want to serve millions and millions of people. Well, if you want to serve millions and millions of people, why not start out with just serving one person? If you serve one person properly, effectively, and to your utmost possibility, that one will magically turn into many, many more people. If not millions, if not billions, if not billions, all right? Now, purpose. The power of purpose is one person away. One person away. You help out that person. You put all your focus into helping out that one person at a time. And I know that there are a lot of people who want things for free, and I know that there are a lot of people who don't want to pay. If you don't invest money, then you're not going to get money back. That's the reality. The more you get free, you're not going to be able to produce monetarily that easily. All right? Who needs my A game? Always ask yourself that when you're trying to be an influencer, a person of service. Who needs your A game? We are a collection of habits. You each have habits. Are those habits getting you to where you want to be? Now, Brendan Bernard said that he was an expert in writing books and in public speaking. However, those were not enough to get him to where he is now. What was the third thing that he needed to do? And it's not the same for everyone, but he needed to find out what was missing in order for him to get productive and to become who he is now. What was that third thing? Does anyone remember? Anyone?
Influence.
Marketing.
Oh my.
He took 1.5 years to learn marketing, to learn branding, to learn website creation, to learn how to sell, to learn how to influence, as Martha said. So it is influence, but sometimes we don't know what we're missing. I know that I'm an expert in health. I know that you all know that I'm becoming an expert in investing, but I'm still missing one step, marketing. And I'm starting to create books, I'm starting to create programs, but I need my website as well. So if I don't have a website that's sound and efficient, then how am I going to get to people out there? Where am I going to refer them to? How am I going to have a questionnaire for them to fill out? It doesn't have to be hundreds of questions, but 3 to 10 questions, whatever it is that you need. So Brendan Burchard mentions these words that are very important to us, and I want to go over them, not today, but I just want to mention them to you. Number 1, passion. I know you've been, at one point of your life or another, you've been asked, what is your passion? Right? Number 2 is service. Have you been of service? And if you have you been utilizing it to your advantage or to somebody else's advantage? Because there are many people out there who say, well, it's lonely at the top. But then there are others who say, how do we get you up here as well? So which are you? You decide. Now, Brendan says that in one of his most amazing speeches that he had in front of very well-known speakers, one of the speakers said in the audience, started out his speech was saying, never be satisfied. Never be satisfied. because the moment you're satisfied, you lose. That's what the speaker said. Now, Brendan, who was an up-and-coming speaker, was not very well known. His second card said, always be satisfied. Who do you believe? So I'm going to tell you this. This is how I came up with my 2 cents on this. Number one, imagine you have talked to 10 people who are in their 80s, and you ask them, you know, how much did you accomplish? Did you do everything that you wanted in life? Are you happy? The chances are that 8 to 9 out of 10 of those people will say they are not happy. They regret not taking more chances. They regret not doing things that they would have loved to have done. So now I ask myself, do I want to never be satisfied? Or sometimes do I want to take time out and enjoy life and be satisfied? Congratulate yourself on the small moments. Let's say you got through a rough week. Congratulate yourself. You don't have to go all out and spend $10,000, $20,000, but take a moment off. I know I'm going to become a billionaire. I know that. I hope you know whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Don't let me influence you, all right? But if you have billions and you don't know what to do with it, send it my way. I know what to do with it. So that was purposely meant to get a serious laugh, and I guess Juana didn't get that, but it's okay. So the reality is you should be taking moments out of your time during the day, during the week, during the month, to just look back and say, what did I do this month? Maybe you didn't do a lot. Maybe you did a lot. When I set out in life, I told myself I'm going to take out part or all of the summer by the time I'm 50. Now my goal is 55, which I'm almost there. 55. Now, if I make it by 50, great. But if I don't, 5-year difference is not much. I have successfully pretty much taken at least a month to 6 weeks off in the summer and anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks in the winter time. Am I a billionaire? No, I'm not. But I know how to enjoy life. I know how to enjoy life. I hope you never forget that. There are many people who want to hire who don't know how to enjoy life, who don't know how to enjoy their family, but yet want to hire you to do their job, want to hire you as their, I believe it's called downline, someone underneath you to get all their credits. I don't know if that's where you fit in, but we're here to assist each other to grow. Each of you has a purpose. If you haven't figured out what that purpose is, then who are you talking to? Who are you communicating with? Do you have it written down? Do you know your next 5 steps? I've mentioned through other authors 15 steps. Brendan says 5. 5 is okay, but obviously the more you have, the better prepared you are. So you've got to be able to become that high performer that you should be, right? What does that mean? Number 1, you're listening to books. That's a habit that you should be non-negotiable. You should dedicate 20 to 30 minutes a day to listening to something educational. Maybe it's in your field of interest, all right? That's number 1. Number 2, we all need to grow our social medias, most probably. Unless you have 100,000 or 1 million followers, we all need to grow. Why don't we all come up with a session and let's all mastermind how can we help each other? There are simple ways. I just heard someone in one of my other threads, which some of you are in, just say a way to grow your followers. There are simple ways, and it's not difficult. We just need to have, for example, right now there are 6 of us on here. We just need to come up with one day where we're going to make one post, and we all comment on that post. Comment, not just put a like, not just put a heart. Comment. Comments are what get people followers. Sharing is where there is caring. All right, you don't have to share to hundreds of people, but let's say we're 6 and we each share to 6 people. That's how it works. And then when these people share, and if one person gets back, say, hey, can you share to 6 people, please? We have a challenge going. Who can share to 6 people? Or whatever it is. That's how we grow. That's how we grow. Another way to grow is to pay for it. That's another way to grow. but paying for it, maybe we're not ready there at that monetary level yet. And monetarily, it's not as sound as sharing with your friends. Remember that when you want to grow your accounts, your social media accounts, it's not the first person that you invite. It's the third or fourth person that are invited who take it seriously. Did I lose anyone there, or am I confusing people? No? So I'll repeat that again. So when you're involved in social media, your immediate contacts are not the contacts you're looking to become as your clients, as your investors. You're looking for them to get you their friends to follow you. That third relationship can lead to a most probable investor or a fourth contact that they might recommend. Those are the more reliable contacts. According to statistics, it's not the first or second, it's the third or fourth person in the chain that gets you your more reliable contacts.
Yeah, I believe we call that tap rooting.
Tap rooting. So thank you for the word. I didn't know about it. I know that Ariane is probably a specialist in those words. Right, Ariane? No? Yes? Maybe? No? So these are things that we all need to grow together to grow our accounts, whether it's in YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Whodad, or whatever you want to call it, right? It does not happen alone. It does not happen one-on-one, all right? So I'm getting ready to create a session where once or twice a week, at least 3 of us go live on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. Why? Because there are many things that we can all talk about, many things. It doesn't have to be live, it could be a recording, but you know, number one, everyone has some type of expertise, no matter how little it may be. It may be you're an expert sweeper, it may be you're an expert mopper, you may do the best salads out there, you may be a chef, you may be a pilot, right? But then how are you marketing those skills to the world, right? Most people don't know that they're missing that. I'm an expert, but what do I do next? So most people don't ask themselves that. What they do is say, why don't I have thousands and thousands of followers just like she does or he does? So I suggest, if you're serious about growing yourself, then you've got to be serious about your next steps. It's the first of the month. You know, are you serious about your pocket, about saving money or getting out of debt? Did you measure yourself? I haven't yet. I'm going to do that in a little while after this call. I usually check my funds, making sure I have enough. And I know that this year, compared to other years, it usually takes me about 6 weeks to get on target. This year, it took me 1 week to get on target after my vacation, my trip. I don't take vacations anymore. I take trips. So, you know, planning for this and living is completely different, all right? So my goals this week, my goals for this month, number 1, getting serious with Ariane by tomorrow. Ariane, I'm going to call you before noon. Is that okay? Promise? If not, you can fine me $10 or something, all right, if you don't hear from me. Nothing huge, but a fine is we got to get these websites going, Ariane. And, you know, I know it's my fault, but I'm going to blame it on you. So, all right. But listen, everyone, if you can only afford to do a 1-pager website and you need to do it on your own, talk to Ariane on a consulting basis. I'm sure she'll work with you and grow with you, all right? Or am I wrong, Ariane? Is this, you know, because one thing leads to another. Let's say you get her that $20,000 client that she's been waiting for, which I know will happen from each and every one of us, right? I'm not saying she doesn't have it. I'm not saying she doesn't have it. I'm saying, what if she gets that X dollar amount client that she needs, right? It doesn't happen from me. It happens from my contacts, whose contacts will recommend somebody else, and so on. That's how it happens for all of us. I have been busily doing a lot of coaching on the health because of COVID-19. And that's when I realized, man, why don't I have all this, you know, documented where I could just send people and make some money off of it? I've had to do a lot of it for free because I'm not prepared. All right? I don't want to see a lot of people go down the drain. So I've just given it for free. And this is one of the things that I need to get serious with Arian. I need to work on my marketing just like Brendan Burchard did. If you don't know where your marketing status is, your influence status is, what are you waiting for? Who are you going to work with? Because there's a huge process. As I said, Brendan Burchard focused a year and a half, solid year and a half to get his marketing down. All right? I plan to do that myself as well. I plan to do that. So if you're serious, you know, talk to Ariane, start with one pager or whatever your level is, and then work your way. Just tell her, okay, I want a one pager for 6 months or a year, and then we'll work from there. Let's see how we can get traffic to this one page or something like that. I'm just giving you an idea. I'm not the expert, so I might be going a little bit out of bounds on what I'm saying here, but what I'm trying to tell you is you're not far off from making it big, all right? You are not far off from making it big. However, who's assisting you getting you there, all right? I know mentally Ariane is. I know mentally Reggie is, Martha is, Charles, Ty, Angela, and several other people are. However, when was the last time you connected with them, you know, verbally, physically, or any other way? You know, you have to invest. There's no way around it. Those who want to produce, you know, who want to make millions have to invest millions one way or another, all right? You have to render millions in service. I'm certain you've heard of that. So do not think that keeping the money in your pocket will make you successful. You have to invest, okay? I was in Dominican Republic for, what, 5 weeks? I just closed off two territories near a river where I'm planning to build a small resort where I'm planning to sell anywhere from 10 to 20 two-bedroom apartments so that if you want to get away, you can get away. There'll be a pool. There's a river. There's going to be an open area, open kitchen area. You'll have your own private kitchen as well. But I say there's an open kitchen because if you want to invite other people, you'll have open space. There's going to be pool tables. So I've started building on this. Do I have all the money for it? No. But I sealed off all the area. It's all enclosed. And what's my next step? Getting ready to, I sealed off the area near the river because I have a road separating us from the river, but it's right in front of the property. So you don't have to get very far from it. So, you know, but that's what it takes. Don't think that just by having all your money saved up in your pocket, in the bank, it's going to work with you. You've got to put it to work for you. Money is a game. If you don't put it to invest, if you're not investing it, you're not going to get any returns on it. All right? Fair enough. You might lose, but I know eventually you will gain, multiply, because I've lost as well. Anyone else have any questions?
Yo, I have something to say.
Yes.
I have a passion for photograph and for food. You know that. I know nobody knows my challenge, but David knows a little bit about me. And
Yes.
I give up a lot of things in my life because I take my family first. But now I take charge of my life. And I spoke to Ariane to help me with my Instagram page for photograph. And she gave me excellent tips, excellent ideas. And I want to start putting it on together. And I'm working on that. And I know David never seen me that way. So I think he's surprised.
Excellent. I'm really proud that you took that step. Yes.
For myself.
All right. So remember, this is a marathon. Thank you, Martha, for trusting.
For her ideas, and it was amazing. I was very grateful to hear from her and give me her advice. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy to be in this group. I hope so. Everybody get what he wants in the future, and we work together, and we want to make together everyone's dream. Hopefully.
Thank you. So, Martha, now you just brought up something, an idea, and Ariane has a Tuesday, artfully made Tuesday tips, right? Is that, what is it called, Ariane? Tuesday?
Oh, my Design Tip Tuesday.
Yes, Design Tip Tuesday. I was going to watch it today, but I have to drive and I only have one hand. It was hard. I got your page, but I couldn't find the live. It's crazy. One hand, so I couldn't.
No, actually, I had a Zoom issue today, so I didn't do it live. I pre-recorded it and then uploaded it.
So this is the reality. Each of you should be going live. If you're not going live once a week, you should be doing a recording. 30-second recording. Hey, here I am enjoying the day in Central Park. Here I am enjoying the day in, in New Jersey, wherever it is. Say something. Start out small. Don't expect to get big. And then number 2 is, if you're going to do this, send it to me privately, and I'm going to send it to my extended group that I send individually, which I think is better received than it is in a group basis. So even Ariane, we're going to start publishing her, Design Tip Tuesdays, because they're very important. They lead to getting clients as well. And we've got to work on that, on how to turn our free viewership into paid members. All right, we all have to work on that. I need assistance with that, so I'm getting ready to work on that. And Ariane has been on my list for several months. So we're going to get started as of tomorrow, one way or another. All right, even if I have to take out an IOU, but we're getting started. All right, so
I when you send you.
Say that again.
I would like to you send me the information. I can see you on Tuesdays.
Yes, we're gonna get it. Ariane's gonna send it to me. I guess Mondays or Tuesday mornings, and I'll send it privately as they happen. Or you can post it in our group as well, Mastermind.
Okay.
And I can take it from there as well. That way, I send it out individually. Because it's better. This is the way we grow our own businesses. Ty, if you need assistance, Charles, Reg.
Ariane, I sent you a chat.
Yep, good. Ty?
David, actually, I wanted to say, too, that Ariane had gave me some really great tips, too. So I wanted to actually say thank you again to her in person, and that I would like to, ask her a few questions, after we get off, because it might take our time here.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm really glad that you are reaching out, and that's how things start. You're not going to become a millionaire in one day, or you can become a millionaire in one day. I don't want to say these negative things. So anything is possible, but the first thing is reaching out, knocking on people's doors, asking them to open the door, right? Ask, seek, find, or knock, right? Those are the 3 words. But something more powerful than that is create, or just as powerful. You have to create. If you're not creating, then you're not, you're perishing. Passion, there's a stronger word than passion. That's why I just left it at those 3 words. I'm going to do a small video on each of these, and I'd like you each to develop your businesses on these words as they come up. I'm going to try and work on this passion video tomorrow. That way you're aware of it, and you can incorporate it into your business. All right? Ariane, thank you for joining us. I know that you're a very busy woman, and I thank you for not giving up on me for being so lazy.
No,
and
everybody got their own schedule, own time,
I've had a weird roller coaster ride, and then once I got
I'm glad you're healthy now, or on the road to recovery.
So I was told I have to get surgery, and I don't want to, so I'm just hanging out with this sling here for the next at least 4 to 8 months. So I'm gonna.
Oh, you're gonna try to do some rehab and see how you do?
Yep. Yes, because I know there's natural ways of curing, because they want to put 3 rings to hold my bone in place. All I have to do is keep it there, and I think it'll be fine. So, that's how it is. Yeah. So this time of injury has allowed me to become more focused and stop doing everything at once. All right. So you've got to allow whatever amount of time during your day to whatever practice you want. And remember, time flies. If you don't write it down, you're going to lose it. So I've got to start writing it down. One error that I've made that I found out through this book is I wrote every review down in a piece of paper. But guess what? I threw them all away. I'm really, really feel horrible because of that. Because I should be writing them down in a notebook where I can go back and clearly say, I read this book and this is why I read it, because I have some reviews here. Although I have other review backups for a lot of my books.
I go through some of your reviews in the chat.
I have some of the reviews written down. I have some of them, but I didn't see it like for this book. I have a one-page review that I could have used today, but I just chose to use these because there's a lot in this book for each of you to learn. One of them is marketing and influence, and Ariane can help you. I can help you to a certain extent, and I don't know, just by talking to each and every one of you, as long as you challenge each other, you've got to remember that. Passion is about something easy, all right?
I like that.
I'm going to let you know. Tomorrow I'm doing a video. By tomorrow I should have it. It's not going to be too long, but I want to let you know that passion is not the word we're looking to concentrate on. Okay, Martha? There's a more important word coming up tomorrow, all right? And I know that when you hear this word, you'll understand why. Your why. Everyone have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ariane. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ariane, 9:30 is good if I call you?
Yep.
All right. All right. Great, great, great. Everyone have a great evening. Thank you for being part of the Mastermind. Ow, ow, ow. My arm hurts as I do that. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Don't worry, the next time.
And Reg, you were fantastic, Reg. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. Tomorrow we'll go over the next book, and I'll let you know who will be our guest speaker for next week. All right? Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Happy
Bye.
Bye-bye.